Trying this again. Maybe I have to share it from my computer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For anybody who's here. Okay, I'm on the computer. Let's see if I can share the live on the computer. Oh, there we go. Share in a group. I think I got it now. I'm going to write Flip Flap album. Of course, it changed it to Flip Flop. Oh, I got to do the group name. There we go. Okay, I think I shared it. Oh, somebody's on. Maybe it's me. If anybody's on, say hello. Oh, Michelle's on. Hi, Michelle. Glad you could watch today. I wasn't sure if after your crazy day that you would feel like being on. Hi, Mom. Oh, hi, Vicky. Okay, I think I can see the comments now. I have to make sure let's see, turn the video. Okay, now I can see. Okay, well, welcome. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. This is the. So how's everybody doing today? Everybody excited about making an album? Got some good samples here. Is Darcy watching? Darcy is sleeping. Surprised he can sleep hearing me. Oh, hi, Michaela. You took time out of decorating your new place to watch. I appreciate it. Let's see, time-wise. What does my shirt say? It says, where the heart is. That was the convention logo for Close to My Heart this year. And so I made a shirt to watch the convention virtually. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can turn, oh, I woke him up. Let's see if I can turn this on to the downward camera so that we can start. So sorry for a minute if it's gonna be crazy. That wasn't too bad of a transition. Okay, let's get started so I don't go over. I went over a little bit last week, so I don't want to go over this week. Welcome to The Crafty Chemist. I am The Crafty Chemist, Maggie Workman. I am a chemist by day and I craft by night. If you would like to purchase any of the items that you see on today's live, you can go to thecraftychemist.closetomyheart.com. Please go to my Facebook business page, Crafty Chemist Designs. go to the page there and you can like it. You can click on getting notifications for any time that I go live. And you can join my Facebook group, The Crafty Chemist Presents CTMH, close to my heart. That's where we share information, the whole group, and we have a good time in there. Today I am going to have a contest, and I am going to give away this stamp set. It says they have all kind of crafting things: live, love, craft, embellish your life, thanks a bunch. So even if you're not a crafter or whatever, this thanks a bunch is nice. And all you need to do to get entered into the contest is to share this live video. So go to the bottom of your screen, depending on what kind of device you're using. Go to the bottom of the screen where it says share, and share the live. In the group, you might not be able to share if you're watching this from the Crafty Chemist Presents CTMH. You need to go to the business page, Crafty Chemist Designs, in order to share it publicly. So for everybody who shares, I'll put you into a contest to win this stamp set. Okay? So for all the people who share, you have a chance to win this. Okay? Anybody having trouble finding how to share? Okay, if there's no questions, I will move on. I wanted to remind everybody of all of the Facebook Live events that Close to My Heart is having this month. They are having a huge amount of Facebook Live events. On August 11th at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, so that is 3 p.m. here, Chicago time, they are doing the Summer Vibes card making workshop. So if you have that kit, you can follow along and make the cards. But really, if you don't have the Summer Vibes kit, you can just follow along with any paper that you have, some fun summary paper, and do the same card designs. It's easier to follow along if you have the kit, but you don't need to. On August 18th, so the next week, they are doing the Summer Vibes scrapbooking set, and that is at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So again, you can purchase the Summer Vibes set, and if you want links to the items that you would need in order to participate, like the Summer Vibes card making and the Summer Vibes scrapbooking, go to my Facebook group, and I have links all there under I have a similar post showing all of the live events this month, and so there's direct links to all of the items there. On August 21st, they're having a special Close to My Heart Kids event, the Born to Shine album, and that's at 4:30 Mountain Time. And this is a little mini album. It's like this size. This isn't the kids one, but it's this size album. And it's all about kids writing about themselves, what they're talented at, what they like, those sorts of things. Again, August 21st. And then on August 26th, they're having a scrapbooking and card making weekend with the Happiest Place collection, and that's the Disney-like collection. So on August 26th is the Happiest Place Cut Above layout, and that's this kit here. And it is an 8.5 by 11 kit as it comes, and that is how they will be doing the Facebook Live event. But if you remember, I posted pictures in my Facebook group how I converted those into 12 by 12 pages if you don't like the 8.5 by 11. And then on August 27th is the Happiest Place card making, and that's at 4 p.m. Mountain. And then August 28th is the Happiest Place scrapbooking. And this scrapbooking is different than the Happiest Place Cut Above. And if you bought the Happiest Place paper and sticker sheets, you should be able to do both the card making and the scrapbooking days. Also, you can just, like I said, use some of your Disney paper that you have in your stash if you don't have these. Okay, and what you need to do at these times is go to the Close to My Heart corporate Facebook page. It's this one that has the teal CTMH logo in the corner, and right now this is their banner at the top. So it will, but look for this one. This is the Facebook page that will be doing these live events. I won't be doing them on my page, although I will probably share onto my page, but the corporate is the one who's holding these Facebook live events. Okay, any questions about those? Hi Judy, you just joined. You might have missed out that I'm having a share contest for anybody who shares the live has a chance to win this stamp set. Okay, if there's any questions about the Facebook Live events, let me know. This is these are the pages that they will be doing for the Cut Above layouts, the Happiest Place ones. These are the products. Okay, so today we are going to make a little mini album that looks like this. I made this out of the Happiest Place paper, so the Disney theme paper, and I put inside some pictures from my trip to Disneyland. And you can see it's made out of flip-flaps. And I used the ones that go from that flip from the side. But the second one I made, I oriented them differently. Okay, so it's a cute little album, and you can see that I added a little closure. Okay, so this is the sample that I made with the Happiest Place paper. You can still get this paper through August 31st. This paper, I don't know if you can tell, but it has silver foil. The stars are silver foil. This is just plain. So this is from the Happiest Place paper pack, and then this is from like the coordinating pack. So it's the Happiest Place coordinating cardstock, and this paper has the silver foil. These are stripes, and there are other, this one's yellow stars. Okay. But you can use any paper that you want. This is the second sample that I made, and this one I did not put the closure on it, so you can see both types, with or without the closure. You can see what this looks like. Okay, this one, you can see I put the flip-flaps going up and down. Okay, so this is what we're going to make today. And it's really super easy. And I'll tell you what makes it super easy are the flip-flaps. And if you don't know what flip-flaps are, these are, they're memory protectors called flip-flaps. So if you're making a scrapbook page and you have, your 8 pictures per, 2-page layout, but you have a couple more pictures you want to add on, you can place one of these little individual memory protectors or flip-flap onto the page, and there is a slot that you can put your pictures into, and then it's got a sticky tab. You just pull off the tab, and then you can stick it down onto your paper and it will flip up so that you know, you can add a few extra pictures onto the page. Okay, so this is a 4x6 size, and this one it has the tape up on the top. They come in a pack like this. For the 4x6, you get some of the ones where the tape is on the top, and then you also get some where the tape is on the side. So this is another 4x6, but the tape is on the side. So you get half and half when you get the 4x6 size. But there are other sizes. There are this one is 3x4, which is the ones that I put here, right? These are 3x4. And then you can also get the 3x4 where the tape is on the top or on the side, like this, which is what I did on in this album. Okay. So flip flaps are amazing. These are probably the #1 thing that my customers purchase is flip flaps. I think almost every order somebody has 1 pack of flip flaps in their order. There are other sizes. There's smaller ones. There's 2x2. There's 5x7. There's 6x12. So they're very useful. But they're typically supposed to be used in your scrapbook, like I said, to extend the number of pictures that you can put on the page. But I decided that it would be really cute and fast and easy just to use them to make a mini album, right? So again, I think you'll be surprised at the mini album. So what you need to make this are the following things. 2 pieces of cardstock, and maybe 3. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. These are the ones I'm going to be using today. So you need one for the main color, and then you need one for the binding, or it doesn't really bind it, but it's like a second layer to kind of make it sturdy. So you need one for there. You don't have to put this one if you don't want to. And I use the same paper for the inside here. So this is for the inside page, so I use the same paper. Okay. You can use a different paper in here if you want to, which I am going to use different paper on the one I make today. Okay, so you need 2 or 3 pieces of colored cardstock. This paper that I am using today is from the brush set, because we all love the brush set. It looks like this. This is the pack. So this is the paper pack and sticker sheet. It's no longer available. However, consultants can still get it for a little bit of time. So if you really want some, let me know and I can try and order some for you. Okay, so you need the paper, and then you need some chipboard. And here's a piece of chipboard. So chipboard is just cardboard, but it's a little bit sturdier. You can use regular cardboard. So this is just cardboard that I had. This was the back of a paper pack, and this one actually is fairly thick. It's probably the same thickness and sturdiness as the chipboard. Okay, so this was from the back of a paper pack. Here's some cardboard that I used on, I think this came inside of some memory protectors, and you can see this one is a lot flimsier than this one. Okay, I made the Disney album with regular cardboard like this. Okay, and you can see that it is, I don't know if I can show you, but you see how it's a little bit more flimsy? I wouldn't say it's flimsy, but right? Because it has a nice shape to it, but it's less sturdy than this. I made this one out of cards, the chipboard, and so you can see it doesn't bend quite as much. So you can use the cardboard, but I recommend the chipboard if you have them. And one piece of 8.5 by 11 is enough to do the board. Okay. And then you need some kind of adhesive. You know, this is a Tombow adhesive. I used the Tombow adhesive when I made the Disney album, but I used score tape to do the road trip album. Okay, to do this one, I used the score tape. It's possible to make it with this. I felt like it wasn't sticking as well. I don't know if you can see in here. You can just kind of see that it comes up a little bit. So I liked the score. The score tape makes it a lot better. You can see that it really feels like it's adhered to it. So I would recommend the score tape. I bought this off of Amazon for, I think it was like $6, and it came with 2 packs of this. So it wasn't very much, and I think it was worth it. But like I said, if you don't have it, you can still do this with regular adhesive. You can even really use a glue stick if that's all that you had, right? But then have the expectations about what the album's going to be like. This was done with cardboard and adhesive, right? So, and it still looks good. Okay. Just if you want it to be a little more professional looking, I would use the score tape. You'll need a cutter and the scoring blade, so you can cut the pages. Here's my scoring blade. I did use a ruler and some scissors. And if you're going to put the closure, you would need some magnets. And these are the ones I use. They are adhesive magnets, so they have adhesive on the backs of them. Okay, so really, it's not that much stuff. Okay, it says Tea Party flip-flap menu. Can you buy chipboard? You can't buy chipboard from Close to My Heart right now. So I purchased this off of Amazon. But you can use the just regular cardboard. Judy, you have the Happiest Place paper pack? Yeah. I actually ordered a few packs of that to make different things with. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you need to do is cut your paper for the outside, and it is going to be 12 inches wide and 10.5 inches tall. Okay, so if your paper has a direction, you want to think about it. This is going to go like this. So the 10.5 is going to be the up and down part. Okay, so if you do have a directional paper, kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to use this as my outside, so it doesn't really matter what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut off the zip strip first. The zip strip is just this this trim piece. Close to My Heart always has, one side has a nice pretty print on it, so you can use it, and then the other side has the product information. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off. And save this because you might want to use it for this project. So my page is 12 inches long, And now I'm going to cut it 10.5 inches tall. Okay, there we go. Now what you're going to do is you are going to score it at 1 inches on the top and the sides. Okay, so you're going to score it here and here and here. And that's just so you know where to lay the chipboard. So I'm going to put my scoring blade in. If you have a scoring board, you can use that. If you don't, just measure 1 inch in. Measure 1 inch in and take your ruler and then, you know, kind of fold it up against that. It's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna score it 1 inch. See if you can see in the, I'm in the camera in the shot. Okay, I'm gonna score it 1 inch. Now I did turn mine with the side that I wanted to use down, and that's just because if you look at the scoring, how it scores, it makes an indentation here and then it's a little bit raised. I don't know if I can make you see that. It's a little bit raised on this side. Since I'm going to be folding it in this way, I wanted the kind of indentation here. So 1 inch. I'm going to score again along the top. And then 1 inch on the side. Okay, so now my paper is scored. And basically, this is just going to give you a line to line up your chipboard on. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my chipboard, or if you're using the cardboard, you can, you know, cut that. Now, chipboard is a little bit harder to cut on this, and you'll see I cut it on one side, then I flipped it over and I cut it on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to take out my scoring blade. You're done with that for now. I put back in my cutting blade. And then you're going to cut your pieces. Oh, I lost my little sample. Oh, here we go. You're going to cut your piece 4.5 inch wide and 8.5 inch tall. That's why this 8.5 by 11 is great, because it's already the 8.5, you know, by 11. So, and you need 2 pieces of this. So you need two of this. Okay. So I'm going to cut it at 4.5. And again, this is pretty thick, so I do it a couple times, and then I kind of folded it so that I could see the line on the back, and then I kind of lined up my cutter with that line. So there we go. 4.5 by 8.5, and then do it again. 4.5. Oh, I hope I did that. 4.5. Yeah, I did 4.5. And then 4.5 again. You could also, I believe, if you have a blade, right, you could probably just go down and, let's see if this works here. Score it, yeah. So that works also. Okay, so now I have two pieces that are 4.5 by 8.5. Actually, this one I've got a little bit of, okay. And now you also need a piece that is 3/4 of an inch by 8.5. I don't know if you can see that. So 3/4 of an inch wide, and then 8.5 inches long. This is for the spine piece. Okay, so 3/4, and I'm going to use the this side to the right of my cutter, right on the 3/4, because when you do the small cuts, it's easier to see them on that side. So let's do 3/4 there. Let's see if I can use this one again. Oops. Not doing as good this time around. Okay. And this is just extra. Okay. So here are your pieces. Right? Again, the bigger pieces are 4.5 by 8.5. And then the smaller one is 3/4 of an inch by 8.5. Is everybody able to do that? Okay. So this is ready. So what you need to do, what we're going to do is, so this is the paper. This is the side that I want to be on the outside of my book. So I'm going to flip it over with the score part on the top and on the sides. Okay, and you are going to line up your chipboard against that, right against that fold, that score mark. Okay, so you're going to line it up here in this corner, and then this one is going to go over here in this on this corner. And then this is going to go right in the middle. And there should really only be a little bit of space in between. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Now you take your score tape, and we are going to tape this down onto the backing paper. Okay. So I'm going to do one here. I'll move this so I don't get tape on it. And you just kind of line it up like this. And then cut it. And you go all the way around your board. Now you want to be careful when you're doing this that you don't overlap the score tape, only because you have to take that backing off, and if they're overlapping you might have a hard time doing that. So like here is what I'm talking about. Just go butt up to it, and then okay, we got one done. I'm going to do the other ones. So, okay, line it up, cut it, and you don't have to be super exact at the bottom, because otherwise it will just kind of fold down onto the bottom of your chipboard, but you don't want a big piece hanging down, so you want to be as close as you can. Okay, and then the last one here, want to make sure it's also pretty smooth down so that it doesn't show bumpy. I did do that on my Happiest Place album. It's a little bit bumpy in one spot. Okay, and then the last one is this piece. And so this piece is, since it's 3/4 of an inch and this score tape is 1/2 inch, it's a little bit more than that. So I actually put right up against it, I put another layer. And then, because I want the spine to be pretty sturdy, right? So I want it to stick down pretty good. So I did put a second layer, and then I cut this off. And you can use it for the next, when we flip it over and put the inside cover on, you're going to need to do the same thing. And so you can just save this piece for when you do this on the inside. Okay. So now these are all done. So you have your score tape on all of these. See if everybody's following along. Yeah, this is exactly like covering your textbooks. Except you didn't glue it down to your textbook probably. You just made like a covering over it. But okay, so now you're going to take off the paper. And this is the hard part. I would have done this ahead of time so that you don't have to sit here and watch me struggle with this. But then I figured maybe you didn't know what I was doing. Oh, it's not, well, I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm going to say this one isn't being too bad. And you want to make sure that you do it and you're leaving the sticky part on there. Okay, so now we're going to take the first one and again find this corner here and stick it down. Now the chipboard or the score tape is pretty sticky, so it's not very repositionable. So you want to try and do a good job that first time. Okay, and then rub it down. You can use a bone tool there if you want to. Okay, let's do the second one. Okay, here's the second one. And then we're going to line it up on the other side. Okay, kind of look where that corner is. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to kind of push it down to get a good contact. Now, if you want to, you could have put some score tape or some just adhesive on the middle part. It doesn't really, you can't really tell that I didn't do it. Like, I only taped around the edges. If you're concerned about it, you can put extra in the middle. Okay, now let's do the little middle piece. There we go. And then we're just going to try and center this. And again, try and leave like an extra space here and here. And that's only for the, to fold, right? We're going to fold this. And then I would kind of you want to work the fold a little bit. If you have really thick cardstock, like if you're using a really heavy cardstock, I mean this is a good thickness. It's not a thin cardstock, but the Close to My Heart solid paper is even thicker than this. So you want to kind of work work it a little bit before we tape it down, so that it you know, will go nice and it won't break on you. But if you have, work it a little bit before you try and stick it down. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just fold these pieces in to cover it up. However, you know that you're going to have some overlapping paper here. So what you want to do is we're going to slice off the corners so that we're going to have a nice mitered edge. And you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see, but the edges just come together. Okay? So the edge is kind of mitered there. This one's a little bit less good, but okay. So what you want is you want to leave about 1/8 of an inch above the corner. Okay? And I have my, what did I do with it? I have my quilting square. I was going to show you what that looks like. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I don't know if I'll be able to make it clear, but let's see if I can. Let me put it on this so I can bring it up here. Okay. So you can see at the corner, look at this, see this diagonal line here? And I have the square lined up right on the edge of my chipboard. You're basically going to cut right along that diagonal, okay? And so it's, if it were perfectly square here, it's 2 inches down each way. But if you cut 2 inches, then you're going to be right up against that corner, and you want to leave a little bit so that the corner doesn't poke through up on the chipboard. So I'm going to measure kind of 1 7/8 and 1 7/8, and then kind of draw the line in. I hope that kind of made sense. But you don't have to do this. You can just eyeball it, which is what I did with the Disney one. And it turned out fine. Okay, so but I want to show you how to do it right so that you know. So I'm going to measure 1 7/8, and then measure 1 7/8, and then draw the line connecting the two. Oh, that's a little bit. We don't want it to be quite that much. Let's cut it a little bit. Even a little bit more. Oh, this one's a little bit off. Okay, so I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to cut along there. Do the same thing here. Yeah, it was a little bit closer on that side. 1 7/8 and 1 7/8, and then draw the line. This one should be a little bit closer. Yeah, see, now that was a good one. I had my chipboard piece a little bit too in here on this side. Okay, next one, 1 7/8, 1 7/8. Again, you can just eyeball it if you want. But you know, me being the chemist, I need to be a little more exact. Hi, Julie. Glad you can join in. And then the last one, 1 7/8. 1 7/8. Again, just eyeball it if you're not as OCD as I am. It should work out pretty good because, like I said, I eyeballed it with my Disney sample, and that one turned out just fine. Okay. So Julie, I know you joined a little bit late. Our paper is 12 inches by 10.5, and then we scored it at 1 inches on the top and the side. And then we cut the chipboard, 2 pieces that were 4.5 by 8.5, and 1 piece that was 3/4 by 8.5. Okay, and then we taped it down. So now what we're going to do is put score tape around here and then fold it, right? Fold it along the edges. Okay, so fold across the bottom so that, because that one wasn't scored. Okay, so now we're going to take the score tape, and I'm going to put it up against the edge. Now I did not, so I cut it here at an angle, right by here, and I didn't do on that piece yet. Do it all 4 sides. Okay, the second one, I will go back and do along those corners, but I don't want the score tape to overlap because you won't be able to get the backing off if you do that. Okay. Cut there, and one more. Hi Megan, thanks for joining in. I know that I hope the party isn't going on. Say hello to the birthday girl for me. Okay, so I did all 4 sides. Now I'm going to take off the backing. I just found it was easier to do that way, and then go back and do in the corners. And again, you want to try and smooth it out so there's no bubbles if you can. Okay, so then I just cut little pieces for the corners. You see that? Okay. Actually, let's see what happens. I'm just going to go straight across like this. If you do that, you want to make sure that you leave a little give at the, right here. You want to leave a little give. Okay, and then that way it'll have a nice stick to the cover. The second one. If you're just using adhesive runner, right, you can just use your runner and go along the edges. Or if you have your glue stick or whatever you're using, just go right down along the edges. Okay. And then I think I have one more. One more to go. Yeah, I've got this one to go. Okay, last one. Is everybody keeping up? Is everybody keeping up here? Okay. It's the last one. Okay. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? Miss you, girl. Now just fold this up, and you can see that it miters up pretty good. Okay, not too bad, right? It's pretty good there, right? You can see being OCD a little bit helps. Kathy, this is what we're what we're making. We're making a Disney little brag book. See? For all your Disney pictures. Okay, so now I'm going to you want to go in on these spaces because you're going to be folding it. So you want to make sure that that folds pretty good. So now, I mean, basically you can see we are almost done, right? We're making good progress. So again, I'm gonna go in here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just cover this piece, right? So I am going to use this paper for the inside, okay? And that paper needs to be It needs to be 9 5/8 wide and 8 1/8 tall, okay? So basically it's almost from edge to edge. You can see here, almost from edge to edge, but it leaves a little bit of the front cover showing. Okay, so I'm gonna get my cutter out. And it has my cutting blade on it. And I'm going to cut, this one has the zip strip on it, so I'm going to cut this off. And I don't know if you noticed that, but this is the same paper that I have on the outside, and I'm just using the reverse side. This is obviously a different piece of paper, but Close to My Heart paper is two-sided with beautiful designs on each side. So, okay, let's make this 9 5/8. So 4/8 is the half, and then 5/8. We'll cut there. And then 8 1/4. Or 8 1/8. So 8 1/8 is right there. So this piece was almost that size. Cut that. Okay. So now we have this, okay, and we're going to put this right there like that. Let's see, I think I like it that way better. Okay, I'm going to put score tape on this, but I found you could put score tape on this, right, just around the edges, but I also wanted to put some down in the center, so I'm going to put some here. But when you do this, you have to remember not to go all the way to the edge. Okay, so leave a little bit of space, right? A little bit of space. Okay, so I put this here. And then do you remember that piece that we cut and I said to save for later? I'm going to use that now. You are going to have to cut this piece a little bit though, because remember it was for the outside piece, and so it's a little bit longer, so you want to cut that. Okay, I'm going to take the score tape off. This would make a great Easter album. This paper is really perfect for Easter. I agree. I'm also going to put some score tape here because I want it to adhere good there. So I'm going to put this here like that. I was thinking that this paper would be a really good bridal shower album or something, you know, something like that. Wouldn't that be cute? Just put some highlights from the bridal shower, like your favorites. Okay. Okay, so do this and then take off the backing, because you don't want to forget to do that. And now I am going to go around the edge of the paper. And I want this side to show, so I'm going to go around the edge of this side. Okay. And you want to try and get it, you know, as close to the edge as you can, but not off the edge. Okay, I'll do the top here. And then again, you don't want it to overlap, so I did the bottoms first, and now I'll do the sides without overlapping. How are we doing on time? Okay, we should be really good on time. Okay. It might be a little bit longer than 1 hour, but okay, take these pieces off. I could have had these pieces done for you, but I figured if you were following along, that would be too fast for you. Okay. Okay, so now let's set this in the middle like we like. Okay. And then I would burnish it a little bit just to make sure you got a good stick, and I'd burnish it in the middle because remember we put that tape in the middle. And then you want to kind of start working that where the spine is. I want to start working that so that it will open. Okay? So now you see you've got this nice book. Okay? So, I mean, you don't have to put the sideboard on, but we will do that real quick. Oh, and before we do that, if you want to, and I'm not going to do it because I don't want to, you could put a piece of paper to cover here if you wanted like a solid piece. So it would cover this place. It would potentially be a good place to journal if you wanted to. So if you wanted to put a solid color in here, you could. Okay, so you could journal on it. So you would want to cut one for here, and you'd want to cut one for here. And that would be 4 inches wide by 7 3/4 tall. I don't want that because I want this pretty paper to show. Like, I don't want to cover it up. But if you wanted to, this is the size that you would do. And so now we are going to make the binding. And this one is, it's 2.5 inches wide and 8.5 inches tall, because you want it to be all the way from edge to edge, okay? And I'm going to do, I'm going to use this paper. So I'm going to cut the 2.5 inches here. And then 8.5 inches tall. Okay. So here's this is going to be my binding cover. And you want to score it. Now, if you don't have a scoring blade, what you could do is just take your book, put this on it, and kind of find the center, and then just fold it along there and score it. But if you want the exact measurements, you have to measure in 13/16 of an inch from each end, okay? That is the littlest lines, 3 of them away from the full inch, okay? So I'm going to put my scoring blade back in. Let's see, put my scoring blade back in and measure 13/16. Okay, so on here, it's right through 1, 2, 3 away from the edge. Hey Mom, my computer died, so I can't watch the comments. If you can come in here. Okay, so I'm gonna score it there just so I can bend it, and then I'm gonna flip it around and do the 13/16 again. And again, you can just push it up against your book and find the binding that you want, but this will make it fit nice. Okay. Now I would go through and I folded it and burnished it, you know, with your bone folder to get a nice crease on it, so that it if you can get that computer up and going, that would be fine. Okay, and so this is going to be along the edge here. You see how it fits nice and perfect, and this is perfect. So now I'm just going to stick score tape along that, and I'm going to push it right up against the edge. I went over a little bit, so I'm gonna trim that so it doesn't stick out. I'm sorry, I was trying to go fast so that I don't keep you too long over, but okay. Now let's do this side. Okay. And then down the middle. And this one I'm only going to put straight down the middle. You could put it, I mean, you could cover this if you wanted to, if you're really concerned about it keeping, but I'm not going to. Okay. Take this off. Okay. And now we're just going to stick it on the outside. And then look how you would like it, which way you'd like it. I'm going to put it this way. And again, be careful when you stick this on and don't do what I just did, because it this score tape is sticky. Now this was kind of the most, I would say, tricky part, because you want it to fall nice on the, right where you, there we go. Okay, so that, now you have the binding on. Now I'll just quickly go over how you do the flip flaps, because it's very self-evident. I'm going to use the 4x6 on this side, and what I did is, the sticky side you want to kind of flap under, right, like this. So find where the sticky side is, put it upwards, and then fold it over. And then you want to line it up against the top of your, I lined it up as best I could along the top of where the top of your inside paper. Okay, and then the next one I put right underneath. You want to kind of measure these out before you do it, because you don't want it to stick. You don't want it to stick below the book, right? You don't want the flip flap to stick below the book. So if you stick them like that, right up against each other, it will go right to the bottom of the book. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. And you start with the top one, and then you work your way down. Now I told you to keep the zip strips, the little pieces that you cut off from the top of the paper, and this might be a place that you would want to use them. If it concerns you that you can see this color, you could cut a zip strip, right, and put it right in there, right, and then put another zip strip here. Okay, so you could do that if you wanted to. So if you use a 4x6 this way, you could fit these right one on top of the other, right, and you can see how you get the nice side. And then on the other side, I use the 3x4 flip flap, so it's 3 here and 4 here, and you can do the same thing. You can fit more going this way with the 3x4s. I won't go through and show all of those for you, but here I only use 4. And that's mainly because I wanted to make sure I had enough flip flaps to show the example. I could put another one in between each one of these. So I could put 3 or 4 more, probably 3 more on here. Okay. Now this one I put paper inside, right? So you would cut these 3x4 and these ones 4x6. But I will tell you that once you put your pictures in, you can't see that. Okay, so these have papers on the inside, but you can't see them. If I had trimmed the paper, that would be fine. Here's an example where I put the zip strip over the sticky part, the sticky tab, so you don't see that. I did it on this side too. Okay, Julie asked, how does a zip strip fit in the middle of the spine? Like this. You could put a zip strip like that. It's a little bit skinnier, but you know, by the time you had the flip flaps in there, it would look pretty. It would look pretty in there if you had one that matched. Like it would look pretty, right? It would look pretty in here on this one. So they usually have these coordinating with the paper, so. Okay, I'm not going to show you the closure. If you're concerned about it, if you look at this one, when they're new, it kind of has a tendency to open up, okay? That will kind of settle down a little bit. Like this one is pretty good about keeping closed. Once you put the pictures in it, it will stay closed a lot better. So my Disney one, if you looked at the sample, the Disney one stayed closed once I put the pictures in because the weight kind of keeps this cover down, okay? How did I do the side pictures? So the side pictures, these were, mostly they were 4x6 that I just cut. Right, I cut down to be a 3-inch size. So they're 4 inches wide. They're 4 inches wide, like a regular picture, and then I just cut 3 inches out of it. So I did look at the pictures to see which ones would be good, right? Like I like this one because 3 inches made this little storybook house stand out. Same thing with the Toontown, okay? So I just cut the pictures to fit 4 inches wide and 3 inches tall. These ones, I just slid the pictures right in. There's the Dole Whip, but I will say for those Mickey Bar lovers, I do have a Mickey Bar picture for you. This is what the Hollywood Tower of Terror looks like at Disneyland. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly tell you about the closure. If you want a closure because you feel like you don't like it just to be open like this, you would cut the pieces. There's 2 layers. So the bigger layer is 3 1/4 wide and 1 3/8 tall. And then the inner layer is 3 inches wide and 1 1/8 tall. and then you just layer them like this. Now I used a glue to give it a little bit of stiffness, you know. You probably could use the score tape, but I did use the glue. And then I kind of just worked it a little bit, you know, I just, with my boning tool to kind of help it bend. Personally, I would use much heavier cardstock than what I did here. I would use the solid Close to My Heart cardstock to make this closure if you want it. This is just a regular paper, and I really don't think it's stiff enough because I have to be careful when I pull it. And then I just close it with magnets. Okay. If you think ahead, because I did this afterwards, you could put the magnet on the inside before you put the paper over it so you don't see the magnet. And same for here. And this is taped on the back with score tape. I just use score tape. So the back is stuck to the board. This one is, you know, with the magnetic closure. I bought these magnets, these magnetic discs. I bought these off of Amazon, and what's nice about them is they come with, they're sticky on one side, and it tells you the pole. So that's nice. You need one that is a plus, and then you need another one that is a minus. If I can get it out here. Oh. It's not coming out because I already had one on. This one's a minus. These are very magnetic, so you want to be careful. So you can see how they say plus and minus, and so you want to use one that's plus and minus, and tape one to your board and then one to your closure. Ribbon would be nice too. Yes, you definitely could use ribbon. Secure it somehow on the back, and then put one piece on the front, one piece on the back, and then tie it. The sample that I saw, they had done a closure like this, so I wanted to try it, but I think I would use heavier cardstock to do that. Okay, and again, you can use any size of the flip flaps that you want. I'm obviously going to put these ones on the other side, and I'll probably put the 6 or 7 on this one here. And then I'm just going to quickly decorate the top. I'll put one sticker on it so you can see. I have the brush set here. I had one open, but oh, right here. Okay, I was thinking about using this one. This would be pretty, I think, on the bottom. So what's nice about the Close to My Heart sticker sheets that come with it, they're coordinating. These are very thick stickers. So I was thinking about putting it like this. And then I think I'm going to put Lovely at the top. But I won't do that now because I know I'm over, but I'm probably going to put Lovely here. And I will post a picture when it's finished. I'll do that later. So are there any last minute questions? Let me know. I'll wait a minute while I'm waiting for questions. I will pick the share winner after the live, only because I've got to figure out how to tell who shared and who didn't. I'm not 100% sure how to do that live, so I will look that over, and I'll pull the name live in the group. So if you're not a member of the group and you shared, go join the group so that you can know if you won or not. Okay. Are there any questions, Mom, coming up?
I don't see any.
Since I'm so close, I'll just finish this up. And If I wasn't kind of hurrying, I might have measured this out, but there you go. I think I'll move them over, but you get the idea. Pretty flip-flap album. Like I said, I think this would be pretty for a shower. It would be pretty for Easter or Disney, right? My Disney sample. And I'm going to use this one for a road trip. Okay, some of our favorite road trip pictures. And so this is kind of a more completed album. You can see what it looks like. You can put both sides. You can put the 3x4 on both sides, or you can put the 4x6 on both sides. I like to have some that go landscape so that you can use some of your landscape pictures. Okay, if there's no other questions, I am going to sign off. Make sure that you go to my Facebook page, give it a like so you can see anytime I go live. That's Crafty Chemist Designs. Join my Facebook group, The Crafty Chemist Presents Close to My Heart. That's where I'm going to be drawing the share winner. And then if you want to purchase any of the products, you can still buy the Happiest Place paper. If you want to make a Disney album, you can still buy this on my website, thecraftychemist.closetomyheart.com. The brushed paper is ended in July, but consultants can still buy it. So if you really wanted it, I could get it for you. Any other questions? Okay, thanks for joining me today. And I will pull a share winner in a little bit live once I figure out how to do it. Okay, thanks for joining. Bye.